Hi friends and welcome back to my channel. Today I will be doing a book tag. A book tag that I've actually already done. I filmed it, I had prepared it, and then I deleted the footage. So I'm gonna be doing it today with a more chill approach. I haven't looked at the questions since because I was so bummed about redoing it. This tag is the All About Series book tag and it was created by my friend Kevin. I will of course link his channel and the tag in the description. Check him out, he's great. I will try to not repeat myself throughout these questions, but I can't help it either if I do. First question is, the best first book in a series. For this one, I'm gonna go with The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. I think this is a great first book. I've heard mixed opinions about it, especially about the first half of the book and the second half of the book. Many seem to enjoy the first half but not the second half as much. They find the second half more confusing. They can't really keep up with all of the new characters introduced. I personally love the entire first book. In the first half we have sort of the magical school sort of trope, and we're introduced to the main character who's a badass right from the beginning. But then it gets more complex, the story. It's so much more than just a magical school trope. And I think that's where people might be a bit disappointed because it might sometimes be marketed as a magical school trope, but it's actually about this great war that is happening. During the second half of the book, we get more introduced to the greater politics of this world. And I personally love that. This book sort of introduced me to military fantasies and strategic thinking in fantasies, and I'm a sucker for that now. So I'm gonna have to say The Poppy War. I personally think this is a great first installment in a series. The second question is the worst first book in a series. According to my notes, I've written Matched. This is a book I read ages ago, so I don't really remember much other than the fact that I did not enjoy it. It's some sort of dystopia. It was released when everyone were writing dystopias, and it's about this girl. Basically you do like compatibility tests or something and you get matched to someone who's supposed to be your perfect spouse. She kind of has a secret boyfriend and she gets matched to this other dude. I remember I didn't like it. I didn't like the characters, I didn't like the story, and it definitely did not make me interested in reading the rest of the series. If a first book in a series don't make you want to continue with the series, it's not a good first book. The third question is the best final book in a series. For this one, I need to go with The Winners by Fredrik Backman. I read this year and it wrecked me completely. It's the final book in the Beer Town series and it's incredible. If you read the first two books in this series, you get time to get attached to the characters, you get to know them more, you get to know the setting, and just reading the conclusion for these characters, realizing that it's the end of this era with that series, it all just hits quite hard. I keep saying this, but in this book series we have a huge ensemble, a huge cast, but everyone is so important. No matter if they get just a page or the entirety of the book to share their story, everyone is equally important, and to just follow these characters and see where they end up and be a part of their lives is so amazing. And this book completely wrecked me in so many ways. I was sad because of the book, but I was also sad that the series was ending. And I feel like that's a great sign of a great series overall, that if you're sad that a series is ending, you really enjoyed and cared for that series. I had a similar reaction when I finished the Poppy War series, when I completed The Burning God. I was a mess for a couple of days after finishing that one. Fourth question is the worst final book. For this one, I'm gonna go with a bit more of a controversial opinion, I think. I'm gonna say Queen of Nothing by Holly Black. I feel like most people on BookTube actually really enjoyed the series. I did too, but I've seen that people have very different opinions regarding which book in the series is their favorite, and I know that many actually love the final book in the series. I personally don't. My favorite book in the series was The Wicked King. I thought The Wicked King was amazing. It's the second book in the series. Wicked King was incredible in like all the ways. Storytelling, characters, plot twist at the end. It was great. And I was so majorly disappointed that Queen of Nothing did not deliver following that. Queen of Nothing was a major letdown. The story got really weird. The characters got really weird. And the book was extremely short for being a Final Fantasy book in a series. The book is about 300 pages. That's not enough time or space to conclude and wrap up your series in a neat and deserving way, I feel like. Queen of Nothing being 300 pages was just not enough. You could have easily added another 100 pages to the story and it would have been a much better story in my opinion. So I was very disappointed when I read this book. Cruel Prince for me was a 3-star, Wicked King was a 4-star, a great 4-star, and then Queen of Nothing ended up being a 2-star for me. So that sort of sucked. I feel like I'm the only one who has this opinion. I feel like most people actually prefer Queen of Nothing for some reason. Please let me know how you would rank the Folk of the Air series. Fifth question is a series that deserves another book. For this one, I'm gonna go with The Monk and the Robot series by Becky Chambers. This is a series I discovered this year. The titles of these books are quite trippy and messy, and I don't really understand them, but the books themselves are beautiful. They are very short sci-fi books. Both of the times I've listened to them as audiobooks, and I believe each audiobook is about 3 hours long, so they are very short, but they hold so much impact in those few pages. In the story, we're following a monk who is non-binary, and the robot has come to Earth to find the answer to the question, what do humans need? They together go on this adventure together to find out what do humans need. And it's just such a wholesome, sweet and incredible story with amazing representation. Just these two characters being philosophical, discussing the world. It's more like a utopia. It's a futuristic book. It takes place in the future. I think like the world is doing pretty well in this one, and it sort of brings hope to people, I think. I think this is only a duology. I would love for this to be like a 10-book long series, to be honest, because I think there's so much more we can explore in this world. There's so much more we can learn together with these characters. And I just want more. Like, I loved these books. I thought they were great. 2 books is just not enough. Question 6. A series that should have ended before it did. Perhaps it's just that I haven't been the best at reading series lately, but I feel like it's rare for me to actually think that a series should have ended earlier than it did. The one I could think of for this, and this is quite a nostalgic thing, is the House of the Night series. I read this one when I was like 13, 14, 15, I think, something like that, like Twilight era. We're following a vampire or a girl who turns into a vampire, so she goes to this school for vampires and other magical beings, I think. And I don't know how long this book series is. I'm certain it's like 10 books long or something. I read, I believe, 5 of the books in the series, and then I stopped. Because the series is only good for the first 2.5 books. Then it gets really weird and really messy. Like this main character, her love life is all over the freaking place. That's not something against her. It was difficult to keep up with. Like, it just got so weird. It completely lost all of its charm and just, it got weird. I don't know. I have no clue how long this book series ended up being, but they should have stopped it at like 4 books or something. And I don't think I've ever heard anyone say that they read the entire series and loved every single book in it, or loved that it was as long as it was. I don't think I've heard anyone talk about the series in that way. If you have read House of Night, please share your experience with that and your thoughts about it, because I would love to just have a discussion and discuss some of these nostalgic book series. Question 7. Best series to binge read. For this one, I'm actually gonna answer with 3 different series, because these are series that I kind of binged. First series I'm gonna say is A Darker Shade of Magic. I always claim this to be the series that really got me back into reading. So I read the first book, I instantly bought the 2 other books in the series, and I loved it. I read the entire thing within like a week or something. I feel like it's a very easy fantasy series to get into. I really like V. Schwab's writing in them. It's kind of like watching a TV show compared to reading. I don't know really how to describe it, but it's something with the writing. I just adore the characters and the world and the magic system and all of that. Another thing I binge read when I just got back into reading was the Selection series. This was on recommendation from my friend, so I bought them all as ebooks and read them on my phone. And this is just your typical guilty pleasure, feel-good, sort of trashy, YA, new adult-ish, contemporary fantasy. I don't really know what to call it. It's basically The Bachelor, but The Bachelor is a prince, and we have women from all across the kingdom wanting to become his wife. So they sort of compete and make a reality show out of it. It's not quality, but it's entertaining and it's a very quick read. A third series that I sort of binged was Shadow and Bone. I feel like this is just a very easy series to read. It's not the best series, I wouldn't recommend it necessarily, but if you're looking for a series to binge read, this is actually quite a good one. Question 8. Series I regret starting / a series I won't continue. I have 2 answers to this one as well, because I just need to share my frustration about these. First we have the ACOTAR series, A Court of Thorns and Roses. I've read the first book because I wanted to understand what the entire thing was. I then read the second book because I wanted to understand the hype and what the heck happened between book 1 and 2, because it's like night and day. And I'm kind of content with that. I have no urges whatsoever to continue with the series and read the third book or the fourth book for that matter. Like, I'm fine with having read those 2. I now know the story. I now recognize the characters' names. I understand the twists that happens in the second book. And I'm happy with that. I don't need any more. I didn't necessarily enjoy these books. I thought they were pretty lame. Or not lame per se, but just... yeah, no, they weren't really that entertaining for me. The first one was really slow. Second one was much better, but still not... no, I have no interest in continuing with these actually. I don't regret reading it because I wanted to, because I wanted to understand the hype, but I definitely won't continue with it. The second one pains me a bit more, and that is the Crave series. I actually really enjoyed Crave. It was, once again, low quality, kind of trashy, but extremely entertaining. It's also about this girl who ends up at this magical boarding school where we have vampires and werewolves and all of that. And it's like a low production Twilight in many ways. And then I read the second book, and the second book sort of decided to change the direction of the story. It introduced a new character and an upcoming relationship that I'm not personally that happy with. And I feel like it treated one of the main characters that I actually enjoyed from the first book quite badly. Just seeing the way that this story will develop, I just know that it won't be for me anymore. So I've decided to not continue with the series, unfortunately, because I really thought like it was very entertaining. I was excited about reading the series, but then they did Jackson dirty, and I can't accept that. Unfortunately, I won't continue with this one. I was excited about it, but not anymore. No, they ruined it for me. Question 9. A series everyone loves, but I don't. The one I can think of is the Brown Sisters series. I have so far only read 2 out of the 3 books in the series. I wasn't really a fan of the first book. I thought the second book was a tad bit better, but not like massively. But the thing is, people are obsessed with the series. They love these books. People are obsessed with these. And I just don't feel the same way. The first book was a 3-star for me, or 2-star possibly. And then the second book was a 3-star, I think. I just don't have the same obsession with the series. I didn't necessarily like the writing that much. I didn't really care about the main leads, especially not in the first book. I thought that Red was not a good male lead. It's not that it is that I don't really enjoy the series, but it's also that everyone else seems to love it so much, and I'm just not there. Question 10. Favorite genre or trope and a series to go with it. My favorite tropes are cohabitation, fake dating, similar. I have 2 series I can mention with this, I think. First one, we have the Kiss Quotient. I once again only read 2 out of the 3 books, but in the first one we sort of have fake dating or rehearsing dating. Second, we have cohabitation. It's like this romance series, and I think it's great. I really love Kiss Quotient. Like, comparing the Kiss Quotient series to the Brown Sisters series, night and day. Kiss Quotient series is incredible. Another series I want to mention, I sort of can't talk about this in a serious way, but I kind of can. That is the Spanish Love Deception series, or whatever it's called. Because the first book, we have fake dating. And there is a second book in the series that was recently released. And I believe it's called The American Roommate Experiment or something like that. I have not read it yet. From what I read, I think the second book, or like it's obvious from the title, but there's cohabitation in that second book. So we once again have fake dating and cohabitation in a series. So... yeah, I'm gonna go with those romance tropes and those series. Question 11. A series I used to love, but not anymore. I don't have any recent series to mention for this question, but I can think about older series or series I read when I was younger. I have mentioned House of Night already. Another one sort of in the same realm of things is Vampire Academy. That one is also a series. I think I only read like 2 possibly started the third book. So it's another series I never finished, but I remember loving it. I actually remember that I cried when reading the second book. I just never continued with them. Both of them got a bit messier in their story, and like the series got super long, and I just ended up being interested in other things. Question 12. A series with the best cast. I already sort of mentioned this, but I need to say Beer Town. Beer Town has an incredible cast, and I love every single character so much. The way Fredrik Backman writes huge ensembles and casts, and as I said, like a character can appear for just a page or a chapter, and that character is so significant to the story and can still compare to the characters that are mentioned in every single chapter. All across the board, incredible cast, incredible ensemble. Can't recommend this enough. Question 13. Series with the prettiest covers. I can't be bothered with pulling them out, but I need to say the 6 of Crows duology that are naked hardbacks with foiling on them and sprayed edges, and I think they are beautiful. The books are so deserving of those beautiful covers as well. Question 14. Do you prefer binge reading a series or waiting between books? I'm not certain if it's an unpopular opinion, but I kind of like waiting between books. Perhaps it's not that I enjoy waiting between books, but it's rare for me to binge series, I think. I can perhaps do it for like 2 books, but it's very rare for me to read an entire series within like a few days or a week or even a month, to be honest. So I think because of that, I'm gonna say waiting between books. And final question is question 15. A series you would or have reread. A few series I would like to reread are A Darker Shade of Magic. As I said, I think I read it now about 3 years ago. It's what got me back into reading, and I want to reread it to see if it lives up to my hype of it. And I also want to reread the Hush Hush series by Becca Fitzpatrick, which is the Fallen Angel series, because I was obsessed with those books, and especially Patch. And the final series I would love to reread is Gone by Michael Grant, and this is another series I was obsessed with when I was younger. I remember this being one of the first series where I like actively waited for the books, and like I kept track of their release dates and would go into the shop to pick them up, or even like pre-order the books and stuff. These books have a very nostalgic value to me as well, I guess. And those are the questions. I personally think this is a great tag with great questions, so I want to thank Kevin for creating this tag, and I highly encourage everyone to do this tag themselves. Series are great. Please let me know. I'm very curious. Do you prefer standalones or series when you're reading books? Personally, I think I prefer series. I really do, because I feel like you get attached to the characters in a different way, the world can be explored a bit more. I haven't read that many series this last year, I think, so I sort of need to get back into that. So let me know if you also would like me to do a video where I talk about all of my ongoing series and stuff. I've seen many people do that, where they talk about series they completed this year, or series they've started, series they have DNF'd. If you would be interested in seeing that, please let me know, I guess. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed. Please take care, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye!
You gotta just go for it. Don't think about what comes after or what